Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Listening Mentor. What is the listening mentor? The listening mentor is a person. It's me. Hello. I teach people how to listen at an elevated level. And I also teach listening courses over on my website, drjacalyn.com. And we've made it very easy for people to be able to take the courses and get certified and join our family and our team here at USA Global TV and Radio. So if you go over to the website again, drjacalyn.com, you can actually download a link to watch courses 1 and 2 together, and then take a quiz, get 100%, and then you get to be certified and be part of our wonderful organization here. Today, I'm excited to welcome back the Harley Street stress expert, Caroline Heward, and she joins us from London. Let's welcome her to the program.
Hello.
Hi, Caroline. Hello. Nice to see you again.
Always beautiful to see you, Dr. JACALYN. It's my Friday night.
Thank you for spending your Friday night with me. I really appreciate it. And we have an interesting topic today. Before we get into that, for people who are joining us for the first time and they don't know who you are, they don't know what it is you do, I would love if you would just share some information about that.
I am known as the Harley Street stress expert. Harley Street in Europe is known as the street where all the famous doctors, complementary therapists, alternative therapists work that are good. I've been doing the work that I do now for 22 years, and I trained in chakra psychology, how the mind and body connects and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally when there's an imbalance. And the imbalance is the symptom, whatever you're complaining about. So I offer free consultations on Zoom. You can email me to book in a free consultation, and essentially I'll identify the root cause of 1 or 2 of your symptoms so that you have an incredible night's sleep and alleviate the symptom. So that's Caroline Heward, the Harley Street stress expert. I'm pleased to be here. I'm also an elevated mentor listener, and I'm really, really pleased to have this slot on a Friday evening with Dr. JACALYN. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you so much for taking the time to get certified as an elevated listener. I really appreciate it, and I can tell because you have excellent listening skills, so I appreciate it. Our topic today is one that I would think most people, many people, some number of people have experienced at some point in their life, and that's that feeling of nobody loves me. I'm all alone. It's just me. No one cares. What are your thoughts about that, Caroline? Is that a realistic statement that many people, most people, some amount of people have felt like this?
Absolutely. It's when, you're in your mind and you're certainly in this changed time. There's been lots of people that have felt like that, that probably wouldn't normally, that have normally got that external social environment, their work, and they've been isolated in their homes in terms of their work and their social. So it's become much more stretched, much more of an experience for more people, that they don't feel connection, they don't feel loved, nobody's picking up the phone to them because they've all got busy and doing their own thing. And yes, it is something that is natural for most people to feel. It's not an unnatural thing because it's all about connection.
Yes, it is. And I'll give an example of myself today. I slept fairly well. I woke up to 10 emails from YouTube with copyright claims that people, I have no idea who they are, put on. They took down my videos. They made them from public to private. Then I had to go through this whole rigmarole. It's pouring rain outside, which means there's no walk. It's thundering. I was thinking to myself, how many shows do I have today? Is anyone buying my book? All these things. And I started to feel like, oh, I'm just so alone. I feel just overwhelmed. Does anyone love me? I don't know. And then I said to myself, what? Get out of your head. Take care of the stuff with YouTube. You'll figure out something else to do to work out. You're going to enjoy your shows. So I took the emotion out of it and I just looked at the reality. So when I took away the emotional connection to each of those things, I felt much better and I was able to go and do whatever it is I need to do. But there are many people who are not, and not that they've been diagnosed with anything, but they just feel that they are totally alone. And so I know that you work with people to help them bust their stress, lose their anxiety, and really become in alignment with themselves. Can you share more about that?
Yes. When we get stressed, we go round and round in our mind. And so we'll be angsting and stressing about the things that haven't worked. And that's life, things don't work. Some things, sort of the plumbing might go and the plumber hasn't arrived, which is something's happened to me. And I've still got to chase the plumber again a month later. And things happen that are not in our control. And they're not in anyone else's control either. They're just, they happen. And it isn't that they don't care about you and you're not important. It's just that, everybody has their schedules. So it's about how we respond and how we react to those various situations. And Dr. JACALYN, you've described something beautifully. You can be really upset. Oh, this is all coming on top of me. And actually, there's somebody that's just doing their job. And it's only when you follow up. And if you go into the place of explaining without the emotion, without the anger, it's amazing what comes back. And if you need help because something's gone wrong, something's not working, if you approach the person in a way that makes them feel that they're helping you, because everybody likes to help somebody, if they feel that they're helping you with a problem, they will help you more. But if you go there shouting or being really angry, they will not feel comfortable to help you. And I've had just a situation in this last few days where I'm looking for ways to be paid internationally online that will be less costly in terms of fees. And the PayPal actually gave me a voucher for a system, a transactional system, for free. They just literally said, well, I'm going to put a voucher in there so that you can buy it and you can have it on us because, I can see that you've been trying to sort out the situation and I'd like to offer you some kind of compensation. And it's that because I didn't go shouting and I didn't kind of argue with them, and there was an issue that I had and it hadn't been resolved. He actually resolved it and then as compensation gave me an alternative system for payments. And I would never have thought about it. And so if you are considered in the way that you approach the problems that you're experiencing, you'll be surprised how considered and helpful somebody will come back and be with you. So experience from me tells me that what you give out, you will get back.
Thank you so much. And especially for that information about PayPal as well. I think that's good information for people to have across the world. And I love that customer service experience that you had. In the Power of Listening courses, we use role plays, and there is one in there about customer service. And when we don't get the customer service, the level that we expect, sometimes, this has happened to me, our behavior becomes a little out of control because we're so frustrated, but that doesn't help anything. That just is now two people that are out of control.
I had to keep my cool, I have to say. And I said, for the umpteenth time, I will explain what's happened. And he said, oh, I can see. He said, let me just do this and let me just see if I can make it work. Let me just sort of have a fiddle with it. And he did sort out the problem that I had, which should have been resolved a week previously. And then he made the suggestion about taking payments online. and I hadn't even asked for it. It was just that he was working with my business account, and it was just, he was in a resourceful space, and we were both kind of saying, I'm so grateful for you considering, telling me this solution, and for sending me all the information. And he says, well, this has been a great call. I've really enjoyed it. And I called complaining. And this is love gives love, gratitude gives gratitude. And so, but if I'd have called up really being very complaining and moaning and whinging and being quite angry, he would have just, done his best to resolve it. But there wouldn't have been all that extra stuff, that extra nice stuff that I got, because I'd handled it well. And it is about, considering that the other person is a human being, and everything is how we're treating others is how we get treated back.
Yes, very well said. I also think that in the world we are in now, with the pandemic is supposedly finished, although I'm hearing the numbers are going up in various places, including the United States, there's been a lot of isolation. And I know in some cases people are still isolated. I'm fairly isolated because of the work that I do. And so I don't have the friends I used to have. I don't have the social life I used to have. And it would be easy for me to fall into that trap of nobody loves me because I don't have people around me like I used to. But I have realized and have worked very diligently on the fact that I love myself. And so I don't need anyone per se to love me, especially not in a romantic way, because I'm enough. I don't need to search for anything outside of me. And that's taken a long time to come to realize that. But hello, I've arrived.
The I am enough is a big one, because I am enough is most of us don't feel that we are enough. And we feel that we only feel fulfilled when there is the partner, the other half, the other part of us, whether it's a friendship, a partnership, or an intimate relationship, but we feel more together when we've got that other relationship that makes us feel whole or makes us feel good. That nobody can make you feel anything. You make you feel. No one can make you feel good, fulfilled, glamorous, gorgeous. Nobody can make you feel professional. You make you feel that way. And if you feel professional, glamorous, gorgeous, happy, then that extends to the other person feeling that and feeding that back to you. Because everything is vibration, everything is frequency. And so if I have a frequency of anger, then anger will come back to me. If I have a frequency of not feeling enough or not good enough or needing someone to complete me, then that creates a challenge, because you will meet somebody in the same place that you're at. So energetically, if I need somebody to complete me, then I will find somebody that needs completing themselves. So you never get two complete people. And you'll hear it in people's language. This is my other half, or I'm looking for my soulmate. I'm looking for my other half. I would really want to feel good in myself, and then that person just drops in front of me because I'm feeling good. Then the person will appear that also feels fulfilled and feels good and not needing. If you're needing, the other person will be needing. And so it's good to feel whole, feel good enough, feel loved. That you're absolutely right. The first relationship is yourself. And that extends out.
I agree. I think it was yesterday, the day before, I was doing the laundry, which is irrelevant. And I thought to myself, I really have never been happier than I am now. And I can't imagine when I talk to people and they have a husband or they have a wife and they have kids and they have this and that. Oh, I don't have any of that. And I think that's great for the people who have it and they love it and they're happy. But I don't have it. I don't want it. I don't need anyone. I am just really good where I am right now.
Well, we're in a relationship with everything and everyone. We're relating to everything, whether it's your home, your environment, your family, so your mum, your siblings, even in calls, we're in relationship. I live on my own. I'm in a relationship with every person that calls me, even in this broadcast. We're in a relationship together. So we're relating in everything that we do, even to ourselves. And so if we take away the people side of it, we'll still be relating in terms of our online and our offline, in terms of our calls. And so everything will appear, even to the animals that are around and the weather. I used to be one of those people that would just say, oh, it's raining, I'm not going out. But when I've booked a meditation and I have something to go to and it's pouring down with rain, yes, I'm kind of saying, oh gosh, it's raining, but I'm actually still going. I'm not putting off doing something because of the rain. Whereas I used to do that. If it was raining, then I would just say, oh, I'm just not doing anything. I don't like the rain. I'm going to get wet. I'm going to look like a drowned rat. And that's coming from the not feeling good enough. If it's not sunny and sunshine, then I'm not going to feel at my greatest. But that's not reality, especially in the UK. we have 4 seasons a day, never mind a season. It could be snowing in the morning and raining in the afternoon.
Caroline, you really bring up some interesting points. And I feel like one of the things that you said earlier, I just want to touch on it. I remember someone said to me last year, I think it was, that when we get ourselves filled with anguish and anxiety, and it happens all the time, it happens a lot on this platform when people are coming here for the first time, it's about finding solutions. What is the solution? So when we focus on not the problem or how uncomfortable we feel in the middle of it, but when we focus on how can we actually get to the solution, I think that for me, and this is what I'm doing all the time, what's the solution? What's the solution? Because people are constantly coming to me with their stuff, and I have to be able to sort through it and get to the solution of how can we make this work. And your other point that you just meant, that we're in a relationship here, is very true. So now I have far more relationships of value than I've ever had, because if I have 25 shows a week, I have so many co-hosts, I have so many guests, I have contractors, suppliers, all these things, and I have a relationship with them, and I have to show up as the listening mentor at my best each and every time. And it's so different than meeting people in person when you're out somewhere, there's a lot of distractions, there's noise, there's whatever it might be. And now I have to be fully present and engaged. So I think that for me, I have worked a lot on my skills. And I hope that people out there who are watching or listening realize that whatever it is you're going through, if you focus on a solution, how can you take the next step to get to where it is you want to be, that takes away a lot of the anxiety.
That's so true. Because if something goes wrong, and things do go wrong, it's life, isn't it? We're human beings. Things do happen. We can't have a perfect life with everything being perfect, because that just doesn't happen. It's not reality. So when things happen, the thing that takes out the stress and the anxiety is when you literally look at the practical things that you can do to offer a solution. So if, for instance, that something goes wrong in the home, like there's a leak, I will then call the plumber, a plumber that's regular, that I know. If there's a problem with the boiler, same thing. I have those people that I rely on, and I have like a network of people. I have my computer backed up and supported by Microsoft. So if there's a problem, I can call them and they will talk me through it, and they will access my computer. And these things I've set them up so that I take out that anxiety of something going wrong with those things that happen, because life is life and they do happen. And if you go through practical solutions of how can we resolve the situation, it's easy and it can get sorted because it happens. And in that solution space, then there is no angst or stress or feeling of not enough, because you're in the accessibility of the solution side of it. if it is upsetting, like when I had my handbag stolen, I got into all the actions of what needed doing practically, and then I got upset, because all the actions were done, and then I was able to feel the emotion. So it's good to have the solutions there, because it keeps us out of the anxiety of what about this, what about that, if that happens, if this happens, and that causes the road to craziness.
Yes, the road to craziness. And another thing is, for me, for example, when I've had conversations with a call center agent at a certain company, I'm not going to go into it. After losing control, I felt horrible. I felt horrible about myself and my own behavior. So my point is that instead of focusing on how can the two of us resolve this issue, it's, well, I want it done now, and I already tried that. It's, you get yourself all out of sorts, and you lose that perspective of how can we work together to make this right.
This is what we call emotional intelligence. When the emotions are up, the intelligence is down. when the emotions are down, the intelligence is up in terms of solving the problems. And some people do go into that emotional intensity when there's a problem, because that's all they know. It's the way that they are responding. That's their go-to, because they are probably not aware of emotional intelligence, because when you're really angry or upset or really sad, nothing can get resolved in that space. You can't see things. It's really cloudy, and all the emotions come up, and nobody can handle somebody who's emotionally vulnerable. They have to have you calm. I'm always complimented on the fact that, despite the fact that I'm having a crazy time or a difficult time with the complaint or the situation, that I'm incredibly calm. And that's why I get given things, and they're really apologizing, saying, I'm really sorry about this, this shouldn't have been this, you shouldn't have had to have coped with the situation. And it's a very different response, and things happen, and they, you have to find a way. So when you're in those emotions, the relationship is in the wrong place to handle a situation that's difficult, whether it's with a personal relationship, or whether it's with a supplier, a domestic supplier, or whether it's with a business supplier.
Exactly. And you and I have talked about this before. I also think it's important, when you have things that are on your mind, or you have a lot of pressure, to set a boundary for yourself and for others. And I'll give an example. I broadcast from Monday through Friday. And by the time I'm finished the last show tonight at 5 o'clock Eastern time, I'm pretty tired mentally and physically. My eyes hurt from the lights. So I've just said to my mother, to anyone, everyone, please do not contact me until Saturday. I cannot make any difficult decisions. I cannot be there for you. I just already know that I'm not going to be serving anyone else very well until I take the time that I need, that personal time to decompress, to evaluate, to have a perspective on the week. So what are your thoughts about that for other people to consider?
That's a beautiful way, because you're saying, I need the space. Certainly with the work that you're doing, broadcasting, it's very, very immediately, it's present. You're being in every moment of every second of the broadcast, the setting up, the being on broadcast, and then the closing down of the broadcast. Everything, you have to be completely present. And with all the lights, yes, I know the lights are draining. I have all my lights on to have it really bright. And it is very draining. My eyes will feel tired at the end of a broadcast, because the lights are very bright. And if you're doing it all day, it will be very draining, because that's a natural light that we're in. And it's important for what you're doing to say, I need the time out, so that you can relax down from that intensity of having to be present for pretty much every moment that you're in the broadcast.
Yes, that's very true, because in addition to hosting, I'm also producing. So I have all this equipment in front of me. I have to make sure, is this working? Is that working? Do I have the right banner up? Do I have the right title up? So it is, and I stand. I stand for the whole 25 hours. So it's physically and mentally taxing, I would say. Exciting at the same time. But so the point is, by the end of Friday, I'm going to take a little time that I need, could be 2 hours, to get my workout in and get myself right again.
It's such a beautiful practice, because I would call that a practice, that you're booking, scheduling time in for yourself to literally simply be, whatever that is, whether it's in a nice shower, going for a swim, doing a run, or literally doing nothing, just lying down in a darkened room, so you're not in all the lights. I certainly always feel, sort of, it's very draining on the eyes to be in that much light, that much extra light. And it's to be staring at the screen for those many hours as well every day is very draining. And so we weren't made as human beings to be staring at a screen. So it's very important that you take that space out. And I feel from what you're describing, you really know what you need, and you're taking it. You're not only saying, I need this, you're actually setting the boundary to take what you need, so that you can be the best for yourself and everyone around you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I literally schedule everything in. I have my notepads here, and it's that yellow lined paper, and I put everything on there so that I make sure that whatever I need to do for myself personally is scheduled in, because it's valuable and it's needed and it's necessary, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, I'll skip doing that and I'll skip doing this." No, it doesn't work that way, because then I'm not going to be showing up the best version of me. I'm going to be resentful. I'm going to be tired and worn out, that I can't actually be effective, and I can't be a good listener.
But you still have to plan in domesticity. You still have to plan in, you being you, your beauty routines, your just the personal things that you need to do, your hair, your makeup, all these things need to be, you need to allow space and time for, to eat. Sometimes I actually say, when I'm free, and I allow that time for cooking, for eating, for doing anything that I need to do in terms of that domesticity. So I always say to people, this is the time I'm available. Rather than saying I have to do all these things, I plan, schedule time for those private, personal things. I call it, being domestic goddess. So let me be domestic goddess. I just need to do a few things to do that, to fulfill that role. That's for myself, and then I'm there for everything else that needs to be done. So it's really important, because we schedule all the practical stuff in, we forget to schedule ourselves in.
Very true. I do schedule everything. I'm going to color my hair. I'm going to paint my nails. Like, it's all, I'm emptying the dishwasher. It's all there. So this way I can check it off and make sure everything's accomplished. And then I feel that I am taking care of all aspects of my life, and I'm not leaving anything out.
This is the relationship. The nobody loves me is when somebody gets into a space where they're not taking that space for what they need. And I frequently heard people say, I'm the wife, the mother, I'm the daughter, I'm the washer up, I'm the housewife. But where's me in that relationship? Where am I? Where's the space that, what makes me feel happy? And I hear this frequently of people that are doing lots of different roles. So they're everything to everyone and not actually anything to themselves. And that's because their domain is being in service to everyone else, and they forget themselves. And there will be resentment to the point that somebody will get into that situation and say, nobody loves me, because they're being everything to everyone else.
Yes. And then that ugly resentment rears its head, and that's the catalyst for arguments, disagreements, people giving you the silent treatment, and it all starts to go off the rails, in my experience.
You've just said silent treatment. I'd like to pick up on that
Go
because
ahead.
this is something that people do when there's a difficulty or they don't know how to respond. That somebody will literally, whether it's professional or personal, family, relationship-wise, in terms of an intimate relationship, it doesn't matter. This silent treatment is something that seems to be a human thing that people do. And I would generally say that the silent treatment happens when there's an unresolved internally, when there's a difficulty inside. And it's not a reflection of the other person generally, it's a reflection of the person that's doing the silence, because there's something in them that doesn't feel comfortable to be themselves and be authentic in their communication. So they take the silence, and then that creates a challenge with the other person because they don't know what's going on.
Yes, I think I mentioned to you on another show that someone who will remain nameless, I almost gave it away, I have to stop. This person would just not respond. We were living together and the person would give me the absolute silent treatment. I could jump up in front of him and wave my hands. Nothing. And it could go on for a week. And it's very uncomfortable to be shut out like that. But at the same time, I feel like that was that was their choice to decide to respond in that manner. And of course, it ended up the relationship didn't last, because how can you have a relationship with someone you can't communicate with?
Well,
What
that's
are your
their
feelings?
strategy. That's their strategy to go silent. And what that is that draws the other person's energy away from them, because you'll be wondering what's gone on, what's happening. And that's the way that they're taking your energy because they've gone silent. And that makes it difficult for communication. And so in that silence, they're draining your energy. And that makes it difficult for you. But that's where they're getting energy. So being given the silent treatment is an energy drainer on the person it's being done to, and the person that's doing the silent treatment is getting the energy from you. So it is a control drama of gaining control of a situation. Not ideal, but it's because the person doesn't know how to respond. So they're going into this strategy of going silent so that they get energy.
Yes, yes, I love that. They get the energy comes in, the energy goes out, and then it's that beautiful exchange. I think of it as two people doing this beautiful waltz across a room, and they're both just dressed so perfectly. They're in sync, their footsteps are in alignment. That's what I think of.
Well, relationships are a dance. Everything is a dance, and many of our non-verbal gestures, our facial expressions, our hand gestures, our movement of our physiology of our entire body, it is all communicating. Everything that we're saying, 80% of our communication is actually non-verbal. It's not what we say, it's actually how we're being, how we're communicating with our facial expressions, our eyes, our hand gestures. Everything is speaking. The only thing is that the body hasn't learned to lie. so the what's said can be almost sugar coated, so that we don't upset the person, or we're not saying what we really feel if we are annoyed or angry, if we're keeping down the emotions. But then the physiology and the gestures say everything. So, and that will steal energy too. But when it's in sync and it's in harmony, time goes quickly. It's pleasurable to be in that space, communicating with that person, whether it be, professional, personal, or intimate. We're always in that relationship of our communication. So everything we're always communicating. We communicate written, verbally, non-verbal in terms of our gestures and our physiology, even in our tone, our tonality. Sometimes when you text someone and the message is flat, but and it could be taken, sort of incorrectly. But when there's a tone behind it, then you can hear whether the person is being angry, upset, or just being open and suggesting. And so tone is really, really important. You could be saying the same words in one tone and it be accepted as a happy thing that's been communicated. In another tone, it can be an angry communication. So your tonality is really, really important, whether you raise your voice, whether it's low, whether it's soft. If I said, I'm not very keen on that, then you would know that I was a bit upset. But if you said, not so keen on that, it's different, feels different.
I love it. Have you done any acting?
Well, not really. But, it's that only in the role plays that we did in the Listening Mentor.
You're very good in them.
But it's demonstrating a point, of how we communicate. We can say the same words, but it will be experienced in different ways. I could cross my hands and say, I could be saying, yes, I'd really love to come to your party. I'm really looking forward to coming to your party with my hands crossed. But from what you're saying, I'm saying I want to come, but my body language is saying something different.
Yes. And even the spoken word, as you just were alluding to, if I say goodbye, one word.
And it's one word that, if there's a tonality behind it, whereas if it's flat in a text or a written message, whatever the state the person's in receiving it, might actually take it, if they're angry, they might take it like sort of as an angry message. Sometimes when I've read messages and I've not been very sure and I've kind of taken it, that's a bit, sort of nasty. I've kind of not responded. I've held off because it might be where I'm receiving it, where I am. So if there is anything that's a bit, sort of tense or taut, I tend to take the space, reread it, because it might be that it's coming from me, that I'm not, thinking that it's okay. When I've reread the message, when I'm in a different space, and so, okay, this is all right. When I get a message from my accountant, I know he's really angry with me because he doesn't have the books until really late. And I'm kind of really responding, going, he's not very happy. But whenever I call him, he's always in a really light, jovial mood, and that's because he always gets excellent records from me. So he's never worried. It's just that I do still have to give him time. But I know when he's been a bit terse with the timing, he says, I really need to have your records ASAP. And I'm taking it always not very happy, and this is what we do. We interpret the written communication in tone because we're reading it as if we're in that experience of the verbal, and it might be that whenever I call him, he's always really jovial. Oh, okay, and I'll say, I can't get it to you this week, it'll be next week. And I go, that's okay. And he's light and sunny about it, because he knows he doesn't have to do much work. He still has to do his work, but he knows, that I'm conscious about a deadline and I'm working towards what he needs. So I do like a voice call, and sometimes it's hard with Zoom and sort of this whole concept of the screen, that we're in front of on a daily basis. It's quite nice, I feel, to have a break from the screen and have sort of from the screen and the eyes and the falseness of sort of being in a screen on a computer, to being in a voice call where I might not be quite dressed. I might have sort of not got my hair quite right, and to be a bit more relaxed in that communication, and sort of, and then I can take the later calls because I don't have to be pristine
on camera. You don't have to be on camera. And you mentioned before about the fact that when you're in a good relationship, that time goes by quickly. And once again, our time has flown by. So
Never done that.
yes, our show is over, and we have another one right after this. So I'm going to spotlight you. Great conversation. I really hope that people took value out of what we shared today. And for people who want to reach out to you and they want to bust their stress, what do they need to do?
Email me in the first instance to book and arrange your free consultation on Zoom. So email me on NoMoreStress@live.co.uk. And come with 1 or 2 symptoms that are bothering you, that are causing you stress, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, behavioral, whether it's a relationship problem, a bereavement problem, a business, a personal, family. It doesn't matter what it is, it's whatever you're complaining about. So you can reach out on NoMoreStress@live.co.uk, or follow me on my Facebook, which is in the details, or on Facebook or LinkedIn. But my pleasure is to help you literally bust your stress.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just that voice helps to calm us down. Beautiful. So you have a wonderful weekend, and thank you again for being here and sharing so many fabulous insights from a professional like yourself.
You too. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Next Friday. Woo! Yes, have a great weekend. Thank you,
Take care.
Caroline.
You too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you to those of you who are watching us right now on the live. If you're over in our YouTube channel and you click subscribe so we could have you as part of our family here at USA Global TV and Radio, that would be terrific. All right, we are signing off, and we'll be back in less than 20 minutes with our next show, which is Loving Longevity, followed by presenting Pet Psychic Amina. Thank you again. Thanks, Caroline. Thank you so much. I hope you all find your inner peace and find some time for yourself, especially over the weekend. Make it happen. You're important. You matter. All right. See you. Bye.